Hey there! Imagine a substance that's 100 times stronger than heroin, kills thousands of people every year, and never leaves the headlines. That's fentanyl, a drug that destroys lives faster than you can even realize what's happening. Today, we're breaking down what this stuff really is, why it's so dangerous, how people get trapped by it, and why escaping is almost impossible. Get ready for some shocking facts, real stories, and answers to questions most people are too scared to ask. Let's get into it. But before we start, just take a second to think about this. How can something so tiny and invisible wreck entire families and communities? Fentanyl doesn't care who you are. It can hit anyone, no matter your age, background, or lifestyle. Maybe you've seen it in the news, or maybe you know someone who's been affected. The truth is, this crisis is closer than most of us think. It's not just a problem for other people. It's something that could touch any of us at any time, often when we least expect it. Fentanyl isn't just another drug. It's a synthetic opioid created back in the 1960s as a super strong painkiller for surgeries and people with serious illnesses. Doctors and scientists were searching for a way to help people in the worst pain: cancer patients, trauma victims, people who'd been through major surgeries. Fentanyl was a breakthrough, offering relief where other medications failed. But things went sideways. It broke out of hospitals and hit the streets. Why? It's cheap, insanely powerful, and deadly. Just a tiny speck, smaller than a grain of sand, can kill an adult. Over time, illegal labs started making fentanyl outside of any kind of regulation, and on the streets, it's often mixed with other drugs, making it even more dangerous. Unlike prescription meds, street fentanyl is unpredictable. Even experienced users can't tell how much they're taking, and one mistake can be fatal. The rise of fentanyl has changed the entire landscape of drug use, making things riskier for everyone, even people who never thought they'd be at risk. When fentanyl gets into your body, it's like a key that unlocks your brain's pleasure center. It latches onto your opioid receptors and triggers a massive dopamine rush. You feel amazing. Pain and anxiety just disappear. For a moment, it feels like all your problems are gone. But here's the catch. It's all an illusion, and your brain gets used to it fast. Soon, you need more and more just to feel anything at all. Let's break this down a bit more. The human brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain. Opioids like fentanyl hijack this system, flooding it with chemicals that create intense feelings of euphoria and relief. But the brain is smart. It adapts quickly. The more often you use fentanyl, the less responsive your brain becomes to its effects. This means you need more and more of the drug just to feel normal. Over time, the brain's natural ability to produce pleasure is damaged, making it nearly impossible to feel joy from everyday things like food, music, or spending time with friends. This is why fentanyl addiction is so powerful. It doesn't just create a physical need, but rewires the brain's reward system, trapping people in a cycle that's incredibly hard to break. Scientists have compared the effect of fentanyl on the brain to a computer virus that takes over your operating system, changing the way everything works behind the scenes. A lot of people think fentanyl is just for hardcore addicts, but honestly, most people don't even look for it on purpose. Some get a prescription after an injury. Others buy fake pills not knowing they contain fentanyl. Dealers mix it into heroin, cocaine, even vape juice, just to hook more people. You could be thinking you're taking something safe, and suddenly you're in way over your head. It's easy to assume that addiction only happens to other people, but the reality is much more complicated. Many people who become addicted to fentanyl start out with legitimate medical needs. Maybe they were injured in an accident, had surgery, or were dealing with chronic pain. Doctors prescribe painkillers, and for some, that's the beginning of a slippery slope. Others are exposed to fentanyl without even knowing it. Counterfeit pills sold online or on the street often contain fentanyl, even if they're labeled as something else. Dealers do this because fentanyl is cheap and incredibly potent, so it increases their profits. The problem is, it also increases the risk of overdose and death. Even people who are just experimenting or who think they're using a safer drug can end up hooked on fentanyl after just one exposure. The line between medical use and addiction is thin, and it's easy to cross without realizing it. This is why education and awareness are so important. Knowing the risks can help people make safer choices. Fentanyl works fast, but your brain gets used to it even faster. After just a few doses, you need more just to feel anything. That's called tolerance. And if you try to quit, get ready for hell. Shaking, sweating, bone pain, panic, insomnia. People say it feels like dying while you're still alive. Let's talk about what this actually feels like. Imagine waking up every day knowing that if you don't get your next dose, you'll be hit with the worst flu of your life, multiplied by 10. Your body aches, your mind races, and you can't think about anything except relief. This is withdrawal, and it's one of the main reasons people stay trapped in addiction. The fear of withdrawal is so intense that it overshadows everything else, even the desire to get better. Friends and family might not understand why someone can't just stop, but the reality is, quitting fentanyl isn't just a matter of willpower. It's a battle against your own body and mind. Many people try to quit multiple times, only to relapse because the pain is too much to bear. This cycle of hope and disappointment can be devastating, both for the person struggling and for those who care about them. It's a prison with invisible bars, and escaping takes more than just determination. It often requires medical help, support, and a lot of patience. So why don't people just walk away from this nightmare? First, fear. Withdrawal is so brutal, it's easier to take another dose than go through it. Second, your brain changes. Normal joys just don't work anymore. And then there's shame. Society judges addicts, so instead of help, they get looked down on. But there's even more to it. Addiction doesn't just affect the body. It takes a huge toll on mental health. Depression, anxiety, and feelings of hopelessness are common among people struggling with fentanyl. The stigma surrounding addiction makes it even harder to ask for help. Many people feel isolated, believing that no one could possibly understand what they're going through. This sense of isolation can be overwhelming, leading to a vicious cycle where drugs become the only source of comfort. On top of that, practical barriers like lack of access to treatment, financial problems, or unstable living situations make recovery even more difficult. It's not just about willpower or desire. It's about overcoming a whole web of psychological, social, and economic challenges. That's why support from loved ones, community resources, and professional help are so important in the recovery process. Fentanyl is a death machine. In the U.S., it kills more people than car crashes. Overdosing is easy, just a little too much, and you stop breathing. Even if you survive, the fallout is brutal. Broken families, debt, jail. But the problem goes way beyond the person using. Families get torn apart, kids lose parents, whole communities are left grieving. The economic cost is huge, and the emotional toll is impossible to measure. Every number is a real person, a son, daughter, friend, or neighbor. The ripple effects can last for generations. The impact of fentanyl goes far beyond the individual. Families are torn apart, children lose parents, and entire communities are left grieving. The economic cost is staggering. Healthcare expenses, lost productivity, and the burden on emergency services all add up. Law enforcement agencies are overwhelmed, trying to keep up with the flood of illegal fentanyl entering the country. And the emotional toll is impossible to measure. Every statistic represents a real person, a son, daughter, friend, or neighbor. The ripple effects of fentanyl addiction can last for generations, affecting people who may never have used the drug themselves. It's a crisis that demands attention, compassion, and action from all of us. The more we understand about the true consequences, the better equipped we are to fight back and support those in need. Fentanyl isn't just a drug. It's an epidemic that's destroying lives, no matter who you are. It doesn't bring happiness, only pain and emptiness. If you or someone you care about is dealing with this, don't stay silent. There is help out there. Be careful, know what you're taking, and don't let fentanyl steal your life. Before we wrap up, remember, awareness is the first step toward change. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, please give it a like and share it with others who might need this information. Your support helps us reach more people and spread the word about the dangers of fentanyl. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos on important topics like this. Stay safe, take care of yourself and your loved ones, and remember, you're not alone.